changing lives.
Good evening, my name is Evie and I welcome you to another exciting episode of Real Talk here at the studios of Hope TV Ghana. Before I go into anything and everything that we are going to talk about, usually when couples come together, when they get married and they decide to have children, whatever time in that they plan for themselves, and when they do get pregnant, when the woman conceives and she's pregnant, it is one of the most exciting moments that they can have in their lives. I mean, I'm sure it's even more exciting than their wedding ceremony, you know, all the excitement that happened that day. Conceiving and being pregnant is one of the greatest things or gifts that could come to a couple that actually wants children. And it's usually very, very sad and upsetting when this couple go and have their child, deliver the baby and realize that the baby is sick or the baby has certain conditions that is going to make life for them more difficult than the average human being. And it's one of the things that I can't imagine. I don't know how people are doing it. I don't know how parents with special needs children are managing. I think they are one of the most brilliant human beings on earth. I think they're amazing. And I would say kudos to any parent, any father, any mother that is taking care of a special needs child, regardless of the conditions that the child is living with. And I would like to also reiterate the fact that every child is a blessing from God and it's a gift. And I don't think there's ever an imperfect gift from God. Our God is a perfect God. He doesn't do things anywhere and anyhow. And so if you find yourself with a child living with some form of special needs, needing special needs, I would say that you have exactly the perfect child that you can have for yourself and your family. And that child is in there to be the sunshine, to be the ray of happiness that you all need in the family. Today specifically, we are going to talk about one of said conditions, one of said special needs children, and this is cerebral palsy, usually called CP or sometimes called CP. And cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move, maintain posture, or how do you even call it, to be able to just balance themselves or maintain balance. And we are going to go into the discussion, find out what exactly this is, find out how difficult it is to live with such a condition, and then discuss the story that is on our table. Unfortunately, today is not Cerebral Palsy Month, but we are going to create the awareness every opportunity that we get. And so you can see that I am in a t-shirt, a beautiful t-shirt from this group that has decided that this is going to be their mission, which is the Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH or Ghana. And they've made it their sole vision to create awareness on this condition. And I would like to remind you that we are live on Facebook and YouTube as well, Hope TV Ghana. And so please stream live, call a friend, join the conversation, because this show is very interactive. We would encourage you to go into our comment sections and leave your comments below. And as the discussion goes on, I will make sure I read some of your comments. Let me just go straight ahead and introduce my panelists to you. Then we can go into the story for discussion today. With me in the studio, I have Ni Anyete Akujira. Ni, I know personally, he's obviously not a stranger to me or even to the studios of Hope TV Ghana. And Ni is the founder of Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH. Ni, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good to have you in the studio. You've never been on Real Talk, eh?
Yeah.
It's really good to have you. How's your week been?
It's been okay.
Mm.
It's been okay and fun. Yeah. Just like everyone has it. Yeah.
Yeah, normally. Before I go to my next guest, I just want you to talk a little bit about this foundation that you have decided to create and bring awareness to. What is the Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH Foundation?
Well, the Celebral Palsy Awareness GH is a foundation set aside to help people with cerebral palsy. So, we have 3 missions that we are working on. Educate the public on cerebral palsy. That's the education part. Motivating the mothers not to give up. But then it's okay to have a person with cerebral palsy and then help people with cerebral palsy and other disabilities, because we can't leave other disabilities out. We are trying to put them into some sort of employment. Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. I'm sure I'll allow you to speak a bit more on it before we go. But then, to everyone at home, Ni Anyeta is obviously a person living with cerebral palsy, but you can clearly see that it has nothing on him. I mean, he is communicating just as everyone here. He is making us know of his foundation. That is amazing. And so I'll say congratulations to you. I think you're doing an amazing job. And I'm very, very proud of you. I'm going to introduce our next guest. He's in the person of Clement Apia Kubi, a medical doctor or training to be a medical doctor, and he's joining us all the way from Canada. Clement, how are you doing?
Hi, Ivy. I'm doing great by the grace of God. I'm fine. Just that it's cold here.
It's cold, eh? I can't imagine you being in Canada when it's so close to winter. It's really good to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we are going to go straight ahead and take a look at our story, which we have titled The Tale of a Widow Caring for a Child with Cerebral Palsy. It says, Dear Real Talk, I write today very low-hearted. I am a widowed mother who lost her husband at a young age. My sadness was even more compounded when I had to give birth to our child 7 months after my husband's passing. The pain of bringing a child into the world without his presence was overwhelming. Unfortunately, my joy of at least having a piece of my husband in our child was cut short when my daughter was born with cerebral palsy, a disability I had no knowledge of. Despite attending all antenatal appointments, taking my drugs diligently, and taking care of myself during my pregnancy, my daughter was born with a disability. Her condition came as a shock to me. Coping with this reality has not been easy at all, especially doing it without my husband there to offer support. Family, friends, neighbors, and the society at large keep making my life even more stressful by their heavy stigma. I have been labeled a witch. They say I killed my husband and destroyed my own child. The burden of caring for my disabled child has fallen solely on me, as society has turned away. The lack of support from friends and family, coupled with the emotional neglect, has taken a toll on me psychologically. The weight of societal judgment and the absence of a support system has made me question the choices of my life. My parents and my late husband's family deny any such conditions in their lineage, leaving me a young woman to bear the entirety of this burden. In this trying situation, I seek guidance on how to navigate my role as a mother, overwhelmed by both emotional and practical challenges. Any advice on coping strategies or support networks would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for that, story that this young widowed mother sent in, I truly sympathize with you, and I am just hoping for the strength of God to help you in this situation. But then I'll say again that your child is a blessing. And so even as you face all these challenges, please do remember that you have a gift in your home, a gift that is just going to bring you happiness, a gift that's just going to change the outlook of your life. Let's just go straight into our conversation. Okay, before I come to Ni, I'll come to you, Doc, just so you help us understand this medical condition called cerebral palsy. First of all, what is your general take on this story? And what is cerebral palsy? Like, we keep hearing is CP, cerebral palsy. What exactly is that? What condition is that?
Having listened to the story so far, it reflects a tremendous amount of strength and resilience to pray by a widow in the face of an overwhelming circumstance. It is evident that she's been through a lot, losing her husband and then dealing with the unexpected challenges of her daughter's life. I can attest to the fact that societal stigma coupled with a lack of support shows that she's going through a lot of psychological distress. This woman needs help seriously. And having said that, I want to delve deeper into what. So when we talk about we're talking about a developmental disorder and it stems out from the brain. It is caused by an injury or abnormality in the part of the brain that controls movement. In other words, it affects the posture and balance. And people living with cerebral palsy usually exhibit some physical limitations. And some of the limitations we can talk about involuntary movement or tremors of the limbs, poor coordination and posture, muscle weakness, difficulty walking, or even difficulty talking. And it may occur before, during, or shortly after birth. And it normally comes as a result of lack of oxygen supply to the fetus when in the mother's womb. And normally, children or infants who are always at a risk are those born prematurely and those with low birth weight. So basically, that is all I can say about cerebral palsy.
Right. Doctor, when you say those with low birth rate, what does that mean?
So I mean, normally, children have infants who are born at we have a normal age or gestational age for children to be born, and which is about between 39 weeks to 40 weeks. There are some babies who are born lesser than that weight, lesser than that gestational age, and they always come with low birth weight. I mean, birth weight, which is deviation below the normal standard weight that is assigned for every baby to achieve at birth.
Right, right. Thank you so much. I'm going to come to Nee. What's your take on the story? Having this foundation, being a person living with CP, have you come across such a story? And what's your general take on this story?
Yeah, I came across a similar story like this one, whereby a lady with a degree is now a mate, a church mate, because her husband has left her. The woman in the story, she is lucky that her husband is there.
Oh, so sad you say she's lucky.
Yeah, she is lucky that her husband is there. So she knows that she doesn't have a husband anymore. But the story I heard this week, the husband has left her. She has a degree but has to actually be a church mate, and she has to leave her child with cerebral palsy for her mom. That's the child's grandmother. So what happens is that they're actually trying to seek for funds because when you have a child with cerebral palsy, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. You go to therapies, and then what the doctors are trying to do now to help the mother to save money is that when you go to therapy for a month, continuously for a month, you have to learn what they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to learn what they do. It's just like some exercise to losing the bones, make them free and all that. Yeah, it's very expensive. When if you're in the house and a therapist comes to your house and say that, okay, a day I'm charging you 500 cedis, and the therapist is coming 3 times a day.
A day.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
And normally, what I see that is very unfortunate that it happens to people, the families that don't have money.
Oh my God.
That don't have cash. That cannot do anything. That is what I've seen. Most of them. It happens to most of them. So this kind of thing, it's really sad. It takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to give birth. So if you tell me if you are a man and you tell me that this is from your mother's side, this is from your side, I don't have this in my family and all that. What are you trying to say?
Right.
What are you trying to say?
Right.
Even though I would say that the full baby is from even you. Yes.
Because you gave the sperm, didn't you?
Yes. It's from you.
Yeah, you're right. And Anita, we'll come to the struggles of parents, and even with you, some of the struggles you've had to go through, and some of the discrimination society has caused. But doctor, I want to come back to you and then ask, is there a connection between antenatal care and the likelihood of giving birth to a child with cerebral?
SDA Senior High School Aguna.
Hi. Do you know?
Said to me, he said now, you
Care is important for the health and the well-being of the mother and the baby. The majority of cases of cerebral palsy are not directly linked to the quality of prenatal care. However, there are certain risk factors that may increase the likelihood of cerebral palsy. And some of these factors, they include maternal infections. Infections that are acquired during pregnancy, the pregnancy. That could be
SDA Senior High.
even malaria can even has a cause to that.
Wow.
And in infants too, in newly born babies too, sometimes there are some viral infections that can affect them. One is rubella, and they also have the cytomegalovirus viral disease. So all these are possible risk factors that can affect a baby leading to cerebral palsy. But we can link quality
that came in. And if you ever have any internet questions, some people say, I've got
antenatal care to somebody getting cerebral palsy. And even trauma and injury to the head of a newborn baby can be a risk factor for the child to get cerebral palsy. One thing we should take note is that when we talk about cerebral palsy, we are talking about any condition that leads to restriction of oxygen supply to the brain of a newborn or a fetus in vitro, or in the mother's womb. During the formation of the brain, it needs more oxygen. There are several factors that limit oxygen supply to the brain, and these are some of the possible risk factors that can lead to such. Generally, cerebral palsy doesn't have any direct link with frequency of antenatal visits. listening to the story so far, I think part of the story showed that the lady was able to complete all the antenatal visits. She made a comment about that she completed all the antenatal visits. She took all the routine ANC medication, the folic acid, the ferrous sulfate, the multivitamin. She took all of them. Yes, that's perfect. Even I believe that the healthcare giver was able to assess for all the other risk factors, being STI or other maternal infections. Yes, that was done correctly. But still, she was able to give birth to a child with cerebral palsy. This means that it doesn't have any direct link to having adequate or effective antenatal service. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that mothers should stop blaming themselves for these situations, because you see mothers just devastated and just saying, oh, they could have done better, or they probably missed one take of folic acid or vitamins, and this can be the cause. So it's very good to hear you say that. But before we continue, is cerebral palsy an issue of genetics? Is it a case of, if it is in your family, then the likelihood of giving birth to a child with cerebral palsy is high? Is that a possibility, or it doesn't really matter?
Okay. So cerebral palsy is generally not a genetic disorder in the traditional sense. Yes, it's not a genetic disorder. Most of cases of cerebral palsy are not directly caused by inherited genetic factors. Yes. Instead, it is associated with brain damage or abnormal brain development that occurs during or shortly after birth. The specific cause of cerebral palsy can vary in many cases. The exact cause is unknown. So as it stands now, medical communities have not come out with the exact cause of cerebral palsy. But then genetic doesn't have any rare factor or any rare role to play in this particular condition. Yes, it doesn't run through families. It's not like it runs to the father's family or the mother's family. No, it's not genetically oriented, but we based on risk factors that we can just link up to show that that's the cause of it, but it doesn't have any genetic base.
Right. I have a question for Nee, but before then, doctor, is there a spectrum? Because I'm looking at Nee and he's communicating, and he's very communicative verbally in all the ways. But I've also seen other children who are non-verbal, who can hardly. Nee walked here. He's walking. He's fine. And I'm looking at other children. They need help. They can't move. They can't walk. They can't talk. Is it on a spectrum where some are able to do this because their condition is less severe, and others are not able to engage in normal everyday activity because they find themselves to be on the more severe spectrum of the condition?
Okay, so CP affects people in different ways. Yeah, it comes in various form of manifestation. Some people have that kind of motor disability. When I talk about motor disability, I mean being not able to maintain good posture or movement, yes, but they are able to speak very well. Others too, it affects them on the side of speaking. They are not able to speak very well, but they are able to have normal motor activity. So it depends on the severity and how it affects the person. Yeah, so the manifestation varies among individuals. So it's based on the individual differences. The manifestation can be real based on how the person talks, how he walks, or do any other motor activity or any physical activity. So it's not the same every individual. It varies among individuals. It affects people in different ways.
Thank you for that. Nee, growing up, I mean, when did you even realize that there was something different about you? Was it society that kept coming at you with, the bullying? Did you look at, I know your sister, she's a very good friend of mine. Did you look at your sister and then you thought, my sister is different than me? When did it dawn on you that you are different from the rest of the people that you were living with?
Growing up, I knew I had a problem because of the way I do things. I was slow in writing, but they know that my handwriting was so bad at school. Yeah, so, well, I didn't know what was wrong with me. So one day I went to ask my mom, and she told me at age 24.
Wow.
Yes. So I had to do my research when I used to work. I went to do my research because I was having access to the PC like 24/7. The internet was on and all that. So I had to do my research, get some few bits and pieces about cerebral palsy, what causes it, and then there's no known cause for it. There's no known cause. And there are actually types of cerebral palsy. Types. Mine is not the serious of it. By looking at other children with cerebral palsy, that is what made me try to form this organization to help other children with cerebral palsy.
And then my question will be, what did your parents do differently from the other children that unfortunately did not get the right care? What did your mother do differently? How did she raise you? What kind of care did she provide for you? Was she lucky to have opportunities to, you know, just do better for you? What was her training for you, her upbringing for you?
My dad was like, well, they have given me this child. God has given me this child, so let me just handle it like my her daughter, that's my sister. Yeah, so they don't treat me that special.
Okay.
No, that is how it's supposed to go.
Okay.
You don't treat them special, because when you treat them special, you are taking away their dignity from them. That kind of thing. Like you go like maybe there's a fire there, don't touch it, 1, 2, then you leave them.
If they touch it.
If they touch it, they know that.
Right.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of thing. You don't treat them special. And I was having cousins in the house, so we had to. It was a normal thing for me. So I had to play with them, mingle with them. You don't shun people with such condition.
No, absolutely.
You don't shun people with disability. You don't shun them. We are all disabled. That's the way I put it.
It's
we
true. One way or the other, we are.
Because
it's true.
Because I see that the bigger side, there's one big side of the body part, and there's one small part of the body side.
Like our legs. It's very
Like our legs and our ears.
Yeah,
you can see that the left side is always bigger than, no matter what. If you go and measure it, you will see it right now. Yes, so it's like that. You don't, and with cerebral palsy, it's only the movement side, the brain part that controls the movement, that is affected.
I know what you mean.
That is why you see people walking differently. It's affected. So it's nothing to worry about. And also I see that the mothers out there worry too much.
They worry too much,
They worry too much because they don't have the means to support their children with cerebral palsy. They have to go for therapy and all that. It's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, it's true. Did you have to go to a different school? Like a special school? You went to the regular system?
I went to a normal school.
You are tough. You are very tough.
Yeah, because the doctor that looked after me didn't let them send me to a special school. He said I was okay. And the thing about people with disabilities or cerebral palsy, it's not like they can't reason, they can't think or anything. They do everything. But then the only problem is their movement. That has challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had difficulty in writing and talking and all that. But then, well, I had to mingle with friends and all that. So, yes, that is what pushed me.
Yeah.
And then, you don't send, you don't send someone with cerebral palsy to a special school that much. Yes.
Yeah. I get
because I see that it's like a child that is growing up. They look up to their environment, then they pick up habits.
Absolutely.
So when you send someone like me to a special school, I would have been worse than this.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh, those people are just like me. So why would I be? That is what the mind would tell me.
Yeah,
These
so there'll be
people
no
are just
need
like me.
to do extra things to just
I'll feel reluctant.
Yeah.
I'll be like them and all that. The mind is very powerful.
Absolutely,
The mind and the brain is very powerful.
I agree with you.
Like, yeah.
I agree with you so much, Nee. We'd have to go for a quick break. When we come back, Doctor, I would ask you again, how can parents adequately care for their children living with cerebral palsy? And also, what are some of the resources that parents can have at their disposal? A resource like NEES Foundation, Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH. We'll be back after the break. Do not go anywhere. This is Real Talk.
Program F, I don't know. Well, maybe why are you because program F.
Life can be challenging, and sometimes it's hard to find hope, even in the midst of difficulties. But even in our darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of light.
The Adventist Church, mission-driven purpose, and Hope Channel brings to you Living with Hope,
a 9-day transformational Bible lecture series. Keynote speaker, Pastor Kojo Chumesi, Health and Wellness, Dr. Kennedy Donko, Marriage and Family Life, Pastor Samson Chumesi, and Empowerment Development, Dr. Kofi Chumesi.
Coming to you live from the Penkwase Adventist Church, Sunyane, Living with Hope. 9 days of transformation and empowerment, starting on the 1st to 9th December 2023, 6:30 p.m. each night, live in all Seventh-day Adventist churches, and also on Hope Channel and its social media handles. Share the word, tell a colleague, invite a friend. Living with Hope.
Welcome back from that quick break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk. Today we are discussing the story of a widowed young woman who finds herself living with a child who has cerebral palsy, or who finds herself taking care of her child who has cerebral palsy. And she shares her sad tale of how society has not been fair to her, how her family have also not been fair to her. Everybody has turned away, and the sole responsibility of taking care of this child is on her. So we are in the studio with Ni Anyete Akujiram, who is the founder of Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH and also a person living with cerebral palsy, and also with Dr. Clement Apiakubi. And we've been having the conversation so far, and I have learned a lot today. But before I went on the break, I was asking Doc that how can parents adequately care for children living with CP, and what are some of the resources out there that parents can, use to their advantage to help care for their children living with CP? Clement, can you hear me? Unfortunately, yes, I can hear you. Please go on.
So I would say, as a parent, caring for a child with cerebral palsy can be challenging. Getting the resources you need can be a struggle. Whether it is at home, at school, or in the community. But one way to help this process is to be a strong advocate for you and your child.
Right.
To be a successful advocate, yes. So to be a successful advocate, you need to be assertive, but calm and polite for the kid. And then try not to get discouraged. Yeah. You are not an island on your own. Yes. Have it in your mind that there are other supporting systems there for you. So don't get discouraged. You have to also be perseverant. Know that a child is worth it. It doesn't matter the physical manifestation that he is showing. It doesn't matter how society is seeing him or her. Know that he is worth it. Yeah. And also encourage your child to advocate for himself. When I talk about encouraging the child to advocate for himself, I mean enabling him to have independence. Yeah, give him independence and the chance to take charge of his own life. Yeah, let him be of his own. Let him explore. Let him make mistakes and correct himself whilst you are guiding him. Then practice this mechanism will help promote an environment for your child to survive in this overwhelming circumstance. Yeah. Definitely, there are resources available. There are lots of support systems available for people with cerebral palsy. Now, I want to talk about a couple of them. One is medical care and therapy. Yeah, on the healthcare domain, you have healthcare professionals who have more knowledge into how to manage this kind of thing. We have pediatricians, we have neurologists, we have physical therapists, we have occupational therapists, and even speech therapists. They are all there to provide guidance on the medical care and the interventions that will be tailored to your child's needs. So one strong support system is the medical care and therapy. The second one is a support. Yeah, as a caregiver, you need to collaborate with your child's school. The educational system, I know in Ghana, they said that there are several supportive systems. We have some non-governmental officials, corporate society that comes on board to merge with the educational system to support this kind of people with cerebral palsy. So you have to link up to your child's school, talk to the authorities, explore from them whether there are any available support system from their side. And I believe they will be willing to open up to you. Sometimes when you are able to even link up to your child school authorities, it will also make them feel like that they have to also embrace your son or your child, irrespective of his or her condition. And at the same time, too, it also enable him to also blend very well with his peers. It's very, very important. Sometimes, aside the societal stigma and the stereotype that these children goes through, their peers too. If the child is not able to blend in very well with his peers, trust me, it will be a very hectic task for you. So extending your links to the educational system for support, speaking to the teachers and other authorities to help you to get knowledge and also get more opportunities for your child to blend in that sector. You can also link up with organizations. There are some support groups for parents and children with cerebral palsy. So connecting with support groups for parents and children with cerebral palsy can provide a sense of community and opportunity to show experience and advice as well. So these are some of the several supportive systems available that the woman can explore, and I believe it will help her and the child.
I believe so too. Thank you so much. I believe so too. Is when doctor was talking, he spoke about society and stigma. So I'm going to ask you: has society been fair to you? This growing up with being a person living with cerebral palsy, how has society treated you?
Well, let me say this: the stigmatization has been there. It's gonna be there. It has always been there.
Yeah.
It depends on how you manage your situation on your own. Yes. For me, I think back then, my friends, because they were stigmatizing me, so I don't call them my friends.
Yeah. They're not your friends.
So, going as the people around me didn't understand the condition. So they call me names like snake, Celebral boy, and all that kind of thing. So it shut me down, though, but then I never gave up. I never gave up.
Yeah.
Church too has always been an instrument, has been an instrumental tool to my life. Yes.
Yeah.
And my church never stigmatized me. They rather allowed me, you know, I love this family of God.
I know.
That. So, you know, that kind of thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That is what has encouraged me. And then, well, school. With school, my friends were like, oh, well, you get your friends when you're top.
Okay.
When you're at the top.
Okay.
So imagine I have cerebral palsy and I was at the bottom like that. No intelligence, no nothing.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I always feel bad.
Right.
Like being one of the top guys who is very intelligent, who brings ideas in all the groups. Yes. Normally, back then we used to do projects like artworks and all that. Even if I can't actually help them in writing and drawing in the group, I'm the one that brings ideas onto how to do it.
Right.
Imagine art. My sister is an artist.
Yeah, she is.
So
yeah.
Someone will be like, okay, so I'm looking for someone to do a flyer for me. Can you get some for me? Then I'll see Angela. Then when the colors you choose, I'll be the one to help you out.
Yeah.
Then I'll give it to Angela. Oh, Angela, this is what the person wants. So why don't we do it this way and this way?
A bird, not to catch you, but a bird just whispered to me that you used to play football with them and you could dribble them. Is that true?
Well, I'm not good at dribbling, but then I'm good at some setting, defending and all that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I hear you were not easy on the pitch at all when it came to football.
Yeah, I'm not really easy on them. When you are my opponent and you are close to me, you'll be on the floor.
Oh, wow.
There's a saying that miss the ball, don't miss the player.
Okay.
You miss the player, don't miss the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Was the thing.
Yeah.
But what would you tell society? How would you educate society today on how to be considerate to people living with CP?
What I do to educate society is media education. Like I've come here to talk about it and all that. I go to schools, I do the churches too. Yeah. And all that. And then what I told them is never, well, I don't know, but then the stigmatization is going to be there. It's up to you to put up your game. Up your game. Parents, don't feel sorry for getting, don't feel sorry for yourself for having a child with cerebral palsy. You need to up your game.
Yeah,
yes.
I agree. Absolutely.
Up your game.
Yeah, I agree. Clement, Dr. Clement, let's educate the society. You know, how can we be better? How can we be supportive? How can we be a society where people living with CP and any other form of disability feel welcome to be part of?
So my key message to the general public is cerebral palsy and not CP alone.
Yeah.
Any other form of developmental disorder. It's not a choice. Yeah. They are not they didn't come by choice. So in that case, we should understand and accept these individuals with this condition for who they are. We have to empathize and show compassionate care to them. And this goes a long way to help them grow very well. We must understand the daily challenges faced by parents and children with cerebral palsy, and also offer genuine support and kindness to these people. This fosters a supportive and inclusive community. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Before we give our final advice to the woman who brought in her story, Ni, how can we help your foundation? Is there a number you put out there? What are the things you need? How can we help cerebral palsy awareness, GH?
Well, we go to schools and then schools, churches, and anywhere you want us to be with a congregation. So what we do is that we come to you, we have a physiotherapist to talk about it, or a medical practitioner to talk about it. Then I come in with my story, I chip in my story, and then so we need funds. So we have t-shirts, you order, then we get them for you. It takes like 3 days or 1 week to get the t-shirt for you.
Okay.
Definitely you get it. The t-shirt, I give it for, I go 50 CDs, but then for your love of the organization, you can give more. For one. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then, so what we are trying to do, sorry.
Don't worry.
What we are trying to do is to raise funds for these mothers that we are going to help in employment. Wow. We want to put them into some sort of employment so that because we are not able to give them the money they need all the time for their therapies and all that. It's a get finished. We give it to you now. The fund they get finished, you would want more. Yeah. So we are trying to set up a whole kind of company for them where they make products with shea butter and other raw material. Okay. So when they make them, the organization takes 10%. Then we give them 80% to share among themselves. Well, we are not looking at, we make it and we will import it. We'll label it, then we import it. Okay. That's the whole idea of the helping, we are helping them. Right. Yeah.
So please put a number.
But then we need funds. We need funds.
Absolutely. That's why I want you to put your number out there so that anyone out there who wants to support this very just cause, this amazing cause, you can reach out to me on this number if it is in cash, if it is in kind, any way of support. So he puts out the number that they can use.
No, the number is 0243 937 231.
Please give the number again.
0243 937 231.
231. Okay. So that is the number 0243 937 231.
And then the reference should be CPAGH.
Okay. So the reference should be CPGH.
CPAGH.
CPAGH. CPAGH. But before I go to Doc, your final words for this woman who sent in her story.
Okay, so well, the key phrase is don't give up. Keep on trying. Yeah, lucky that you have some. Well, definitely you're supposed to be strong.
Right.
Strong alone, stand alone. I don't know whether you are working or you're not working. And then if you are working, just don't give up on your child.
Yeah.
Don't give up on your child.
Yeah.
Maybe you can try and get some therapists to help your child or something like that. It's not the end of the child's life.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
At all. It's definitely not the end of your child's life. I completely agree with me when he says that. Dr. Clement, your final advice for this woman.
Okay, so before I go to the final advice, I would like to take this opportunity to commend me for the good work that he's doing.
Yeah.
I would say he's championing a good cause, and he must keep up the spirit and shouldn't lose hope at all. He's doing a good thing. So perfect very much for that. But then I'll be glad if he can reserve one of the t-shirts.
Yay! He says he wants one of the t-shirts. So we reserve it for you. Anytime you come to Ghana, we'll get it to you.
You know, he should get it for $1,000.
He says you would get it for $1,000.
Yeah, no problem.
Please, your final advice for the woman.
Final advice to the woman is that she should remember that she's not alone on this journey. She's not alone. She's not alone. Yeah. So she should reach out to support networks, connect with other parents facing similar challenges. Yeah, and also draw strength from understanding and encouragement of those who truly comprehend her experience. Yeah, this is what perfectly for her. Yeah, she's not alone.
Yeah. I completely agree, she's not alone. And please do not hide your child from the public. You know, this thing of keeping them in the room and hiding your child. Do not hide your child from anybody. Be very proud of your child. And like you said, you wanted a piece of your husband. You still have a piece of your husband. This child has 50% of your husband's DNA. And so remember that he's always with you. Remember that this child is there to even comfort you in these very trying times. And to your family and the society that have turned their backs on you, we can do better. It is very shameful to go ahead and put down a woman who is clearly going through a lot. I don't know what we stand to gain by telling her she's a witch and she has destroyed her child. I think anybody that goes out of their way to make the lives of somebody going through a hard time even more difficult should be ashamed of themselves. We are Christians, we say Ghanaians are very hospitable. This is not the right way to go. Let's just be better. Let's love all. And if you're somebody living with cerebral palsy, you can see Ni. Ni is a testament of the amazing things that you can do with your life. Do not dwell on your situation. There's this thing that my mother always says, regardless of what you're going through, somebody is going through is worse than you. And so find the silver lining in your situation. Find the positives in your situation and just concentrate on those ones. And I am sure that you will be just fine. I mean, if there's life, there's obviously hope. And with Christ, everything is possible. I want to say a big thank you once again to Ni Anyete Akojiram for coming, the founder of Cerebral Palsy Awareness GH. And also another big thank you to Doctor for making the time for coming. We are very grateful all the way in Canada, even in the midst of the cold. Dr. Clement Apiokubi made it and joined us here today. Before we go, the number again for CPA GH is 0243-937-231. 0243-937-231. You can call and decide how to help. You can send mobile money. You can reserve a t-shirt. Kindly make sure that you reference its CPA GH, and then you will get your t-shirt, and then you can support however you want to support. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you to my viewers. I couldn't read a message. Oh my goodness, I really wanted to read one of them that came through. I'll beg my producer to give me just a minute. This one is from Sabathina Enchua. She says, he's indeed tough and smart. I am just here watching and smiling behind my phone. Keep inspiring and be strong, dear one. So this one is from Sathina Ifwa Arthur, who says, Brother Nee, God bless your foundation. God indeed bless your foundation. Let me take one more before we go. This one is from Helena Ansa, who says, I pray that the good Lord will send you help in Jesus' name. Please, you can visit any government hospital near you. I learned that there are NGOs who support parents with such conditions. So find out from any government hospital. May God give you strength to endure. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for watching. We will be back same time next week with another interesting conversation. I'm sure next week we'll probably be in Sunyani. We are still thinking about it, but you'll hear from us soon. But until then, keep enjoying the rest of the content on Hope TV Ghana. Dr. Clement Nee, thank you once again. And Cerebral Palsy Awareness, you guys, let's educate ourselves. Go on Google, search, call Nee. He has all the information to give you. Clearly, he's very smart and knows what he's talking about. And I'm sure you have all the information that you need. We'll be back same time next week. Please do have yourselves a lovely Wednesday night.